Hi guys, my name is Dan and I'm a video strategist and a video first marketer. That means I help to grow people's businesses online and achieve results like engagement, leads and sales. This is my podcast, the Video Marketing Toolkit. Inside the podcast, I speak to experts and business owners about video, marketing and business in general. We sit down for 30 minutes to an hour, discuss their origin story, where they come from, what they're doing today, and also a topic to do with video and marketing. This episode, I spoke to Keely Briggs. She's a marketing consultant from Swaddling Code. We deep dived into her life before marketing, what she's currently doing, and how to connect with local potential customers in your area through the power of social media. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed making it. Thanks for watching. Hi Keely, how are you doing?
Hi.
Thanks for joining me today. Is this your first podcast?
It is. It is. I am a podcast virgin.
So
This is my first one.
It's my second, so I'm no expert by any all means. But we can just have a chat. We can get to know each other. For the people at home who don't know who you are, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Okay, so I'm Keely Briggs, and I do marketing in Swaddling Coat and South Derbyshire, and specifically for that area. So I do a bit of anything that's needed for any business. So there's a lot of consulting. I partner with a council and deliver marketing workshops. I do a bit of SEO for websites, lots of graphic design, whatever is needed for a business in terms of their marketing, in terms of getting their product or service to their customer. I like to swoop in and help them with that journey.
That's brilliant. And I feel like nowadays, as a marketers, we're all in the same boat in that you have to be a little bit of a one-stop shop, don't you? You have to know a little bit about everything and have that expertise sort of across the board. So for you guys at home who don't know who I am, my name is Dan. I'm also from Swaddling Coat, big up South Derbyshire. And I'm a videographer, photographer and digital marketer as well. So anything creative, I'm your guy basically. So Keely, how did it sort of all begin for you with marketing?
Okay, so I knew you were going to ask me this. So I set up my own business 10 to 11 years ago, and it failed hard. Okay, so, and I'm not ashamed to admit that, because actually it's been a whole learning journey.
Yeah, part of your journey.
That's it. So I started this business and I thought I knew exactly what my target audience needed, and I created this service that I thought delivered something fantastic for them. But what I didn't do is put the time into learning what the customer actually needed and how it would benefit them and the value that they needed from what I was working on. So I sort of shortcutted that process and then tried to deliver something that just fell a bit flat, and it didn't actually convert to sales.
It wasn't targeted. It wasn't sort of like, it wasn't on what people needed. Is
No,
that right?
so it was the service that was flawed. But actually what I discovered is that I was really good at getting people to the website. I was good at getting people engaged on social media. I was good at growing a following very, very fast. I was good at getting the interest of bigger businesses. But actually when it got to that conversion, something just wasn't working.
Yeah.
And that's when, with a bit more research, a bit more understanding of the business world, I discovered that the business and the product was flawed. But actually, I really loved engaging with people, and I love social media. I love marketing as a whole, and I love that creative space. So that's prompted me to pursue that and to throw myself into every course, learning, networking, business development workshop I could find to hone those skills and put everything I've got into marketing.
That's awesome. And I think that's it really, isn't it? You're not going to sort of hit it right first time, and like you have to go on a bit of a journey in order to find something that you really enjoy and that actually works. So how did your marketing journey begin then? Like what did you do after you realized like, oh, like marketing is my thing. I'm really good at doing this.
So I spent a lot of time learning SEO, and I found that really interesting. And what I've discovered is that I can write a really interesting blog post. And way back then, blog posts, people still thought of it as being a diary entry, something really boring. And what I wanted to do is put a load of personality into this blog post, but understand the SEO behind it. And I was getting these blog posts onto page one on Google. So I showed other people how to do this. And then they were coming back to me and saying, wow, look, I'm on page one too. And I thought, actually, maybe there's a bit more to this. Maybe it's not just a shot in the dark. Maybe that actually these skills are something that are worth pursuing.
Yeah.
And it sort of grew from there. I tried to do things for people that worked for them. The results were great. So I would try and learn more about it and offer a greater marketing package, I suppose.
That's awesome. And like, but was this like when like, was SEO like a really big thing at this time, or like, was it something that a lot of people still haven't heard of, or like, was this still like people didn't really know about like ranking at this point?
I think so, but also we're still sort of there now.
Yeah.
So there's still a lot of businesses out there that think we've got to be on social media, we've got to sort of nail that social media content. But I still think that search is king. And actually, if you've got your right keywords and your website is optimized, the purpose of your social media is to bring people to the website, which is where that traffic will convert. So I still feel that we're in a place where we need to talk more about SEO and the value that can offer to your business. It's particularly around conversion.
Yeah, 100%. Well, at the end of the day, SEO, if someone is searching, like where to buy a bike near me, they're going to be searching it in Google. Like the buyers with
Yes,
intent straight away, it's going to pick up on that.
exactly. And it's that buying intent that's important, because you know yourself, you sit scrolling Facebook or Instagram, you're
Yeah.
not on there because you want to buy that bike near you. You're on there because you're bored and you're killing time, you're entertaining yourself. If you search for it in Google, you're basically cash in hand, ready to purchase, aren't you?
And 9 times out of 10, it's on Facebook. I've seen that bike 7 times on Facebook or more, and then I'm still searching Google where to buy it. I'm not searching in Facebook or Instagram where to buy it. So yeah, it's
Yes.
100% right. You've got to be there to
Yeah.
capture people and sort of scoop them up like after the fact.
But that's where I guess we can use that brand awareness. So if we keep seeing that bike on Facebook and Instagram, and now you're ready to buy that bike and you search for it, you see that brand name, you think, oh, I know them, I know who they are, I've seen a bit from them, and suddenly it all starts to come together as a bigger plan.
Yeah, it all obviously feeds in together, holistic strategy. How does everything work together as one, really? That's great. So obviously that was sort of like how you started like you with your business. Where are we at now with your business? What are you up to nowadays?
So before I was in the wedding industry, and I ditched that actually because I was working with businesses all around the country. I was working with businesses in London. I actually worked with a business in America as well, which was pretty cool. But it's always been important to me to work with my local businesses. And as much as I'm sort of flying the flag for support local, why am I helping these businesses at the other side of the world when I've got businesses on my doorstep that actually need that support?
Yeah.
So I sort of swapped things around, and that's when I targeted my audience to work primarily with Swadlincote in South Derbyshire, so that there's the benefit there for those local businesses, and I can help them to achieve their business goals.
And I think that's great. I think because like there's a few good reasons why like working locally and working with local people is great. One, it's, you know, you're supporting the people around you, you're supporting your local community and economy. Like these are the people who you live in, the area that you live. Like you want to improve that area, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But sort of secondly, like from a business perspective, I feel like there's so much opportunity in like small towns like Swadlincote. There's such untapped areas and people that need help, and you know, advice that can be given to people that genuinely need it. Like a lot of people, when you think of setting up a business, you think, oh, the big cities like Manchester, London, Liverpool. But it's kind of like everyone's so busy there, and there's not a lot of time to be spent with people. People are in a rush all the time, walking around. Something that hit me coming back to Swadlincote is walking down the street and someone saying good morning to you, for example. It's like you don't get that anywhere in the big city. No one will give you the time of the day, but these are genuine people with a little bit less fast-paced life, but enjoy the people around them and have a bit more respect, I feel, for the people that are in their community.
So I think as well with running a business, particularly in a small town such as Swadlincote, there's huge value in working alongside your neighbouring businesses as well. So for all the businesses out there that aren't working together, they absolutely need to be, because there's no shortcut to huge business growth and business success. But I really believe that if you work with fellow local businesses, and you share ideas and you explore collaboration opportunities, you can massively leapfrog those stages to that whatever success looks like for you. So it's about talking to the businesses around you. What do they offer? How can you support each other? Who are your audiences, and who can you share your content with, and the value that you're offering with another business to share that audience and expand your reach as a business as well.
100%. So what is it that you're doing at the moment to like help your local community?
So I have this amazing opportunity with the local council, which is South Derbyshire District Council, and I'm part of their business advice service, which what I found as a surprise as a business owner, and I'm just a one-man band, one small business, is that there's so much free support and advice out there from the local council for new businesses. So I go in and deliver marketing workshops And there's my friend David Richards from the council. He delivers the business advice service. So we sort of go hand in hand with, he helps the setup, and then I help them to run with that and to brand it and to speak to their customer. So it's a really nice package, and it's free through the council. So that's a really nice way to help local businesses that haven't got that huge marketing budget, particularly while setting up.
And what kind of individuals do you see like come into these like events? Is it kind of like startup companies? Is it companies that are like well established? Like who's like attending?
So with the business advice service, it's mainly new businesses or within the first 2 years of trading. They're primarily the businesses that I would work with. But there's a nice mixture. I've got lots of businesses that are brand new and really not really sure where they're taking their business. They haven't really defined their goals. They've just got this great idea, product, service that they want to sell.
Working with the council. And I think, do you know what? I hear obviously from South Derbyshire, and I was speaking to a few people today actually about in Staffordshire as well, that there's so many like untapped resources that just doesn't have enough sort of like no one talks about them enough. And I think it's great that they have these services available so that, you know, people can be educated about what we can do for the council and what the council can do for us. Because at the end of the day, if the money's there and the resources there, startup companies, like established companies, should be using it and jumping on that hype.
I think something that I've learned as well that I thought was quite interesting is when you say free, alarm bells ring with people. So a lot of things are out there for free so that we can offer that help and support to people who don't have that budget. But a lot of people think that it's a trap or it's a trick or
it's a sales pitch, or you're going to get there and you're locked into something.
Which is quite interesting. So obviously through the council it's all free. For quite some time I was running this free brew and boost service, which I have paused for now. But I had somebody come along and said I didn't want to come because it was free and I didn't understand what you were getting out of it. But it was sort of a way of giving something to the community and helping people get started. And then when I did a little networking group a week later and I put like an £8 price tag on just to cover the venue hire, he said, but I was willing to come along after that because you were charging me something and I knew that it wasn't some sort of trap.
Yeah. And you know, I've heard like people obviously mention that before as well, and people do tend to sort of take free things for granted sometimes, in that it's kind of like if it's free, it won't give them the obligation to attend and do something about it almost. Even if someone gives like as little as £1, they've paid that pound, so they're like, I've got to be there now because I've paid the pound.
That's
so
also very true.
I'm going to make it part of my day, which it is such a human psychological thing to do, isn't it? Like I'm the same. Like if something's free, sometimes it's like I'll do that later, and then tomorrow never comes. But then like, you know,
you're right. People don't prioritise free, which is something that I was concerned with the Swadlincote Small Business Showcase that we did together. And that was, just for anyone who wasn't aware, that was a platform that I sort of took to the council and said, we've got all these small businesses in Swadlincote that don't have this platform to showcase what they do. So can we put this together? And they loved it, they ran with it, they really supported it. So we filled the high street with all the businesses that don't have a storefront, and they could have one day talking and selling and offering their services to the public. It was a fantastic day.
It really was.
The energy was high, it was brilliant. But because we weren't taking payments for a stand, there was always a bit of, will they actually bother to show up because they haven't paid for that slot?
Yeah.
So
there's always that sort of like, oh, if no one's committed, it's like, but
yes.
It seemed, it was packed out. It was such a busy day. I had such a laugh. I thought it was really good. But at the start of that, you said something that we put together. I didn't put together. I just showed up on the day with my camera. Like you did that. You were running around for so long. Like you did some really good work there, and like I appreciate it, and I know everyone else there really appreciated it as well. But I just showed up with the camera and did the video. I did the fun part.
You did
all
brilliant.
The graft. But no, it was really good, and you can tell that the really small businesses of Swad, the medium-sized businesses, everyone benefited from it. Everyone had a good day to showcase like their talents and what they can do. Like some of those businesses there had probably never been to an event or showcase or stuff like that ever before. And so it was an amazing opportunity to get them like in the right direction. Like once you've done it, it's one of them things. Like once you've done it once, you can do it time and time again because you've broke those boundaries with yourself, you know, and you're ready to go and do it again and smash it for a second time.
Well, a lot of them are very, very nervous to public face because they're used to sitting behind their screen and selling like this.
Yeah.
So something I think that worked and something that we did that was a bit different than a normal exhibit of sort of some kind was to bring the businesses together first. So we had the little networking group and we had tea and coffee and we had a chat, and I delivered some tips on how to get the best out of an exhibit, how to retain that interest and convert that into happy customers down the line. But I think it was that getting together before the event, so they knew somebody, they knew who they were stood next to. I think that just broke the ice, and that gave them the confidence they needed to take to the high street and to take to the public.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. It's sort of like that. You made it real by bringing everyone together. That advice by breaking down those boundaries, and then being like giving people the tools to go forward and do it. I remember as well. You had that sort of you had your start, didn't you? Where you was pretending to be like you did the bad start and the good start, where you was like just to show like this is what you shouldn't do and what you should do.
The
and
networking group,
yeah,
yes.
and it probably got everyone, didn't it? Because everyone was sort of sat there like, what's happened to Keely? Why has she gone nervous all of a sudden? And then it was like, no, this is how you shouldn't be on the day. And I thought that was a really good way to sort of capture everyone's attention. That was really fun.
Trying to get them to feel something, because that's a huge thing in marketing. If you can get people to feel an emotion, they're more invested.
100%.
So they came to this workshop, this networking group, and it was a case of I ignored them and sort of I looked nervous and shy and I didn't want to speak to them. But actually, if the public approach them and they behave that same way, that doesn't give you the confidence that they can do what they say or that their product is going to do what they expect that it should. So it's just a confidence game, isn't it?
And I think it was the bit at the end as well where you said like, some marketing material, my PA will get contact with you in like 7 days or something like that, because you've got to be instant and you've got to like grab, the customer's leads. Don't just sit on leads, go and talk to them straight away, go and get the details of, which is something I'm probably guilty of as well. Sometimes I like probably leads will pass by or opportunities and I'm just not on the ball enough. But I think that is something as a business owner you have to constantly remind yourself for and always keep jumping back to and jumping on.
I think the easier you can make it for your customer to buy from you, the more likely that they will. And if you look at Amazon, they've built their entire thriving business because they make their customer journey as easy as it is. You press a button on your phone and it's at your house the next day. So it's just about making it easy. So if somebody comes to see you at an exhibit and they have a browse, but they're not quite ready to buy, it's about, you can give them a business card and you can send them away with it. But actually, what's the chances that you'll ever pick out that business card and look up that person and go and make that sale? Because there's quite a lot of legwork in that, isn't there? But if you can turn that around, and there's somebody who makes bespoke drink cups for children, and they were asking about, well, do you do this character and can you do this design? They said, yes, here's a business card. Send me an email and I'll send you some ideas. We'll just flip it.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you say, well, if you go back and take your email address, let me put some ideas together and email it to you.
You just got to be on it. You've got to be the proactive one, I think, when you build a relationship like that. You can't let someone else sort of build the relationship forward for you. Yes. You have to keep on going and pushing, 100%.
Yeah, you've got to own the journey.
Sometimes I almost find myself, when I'm in the mood to do that and I want to be on it, I feel like I'm being too eager then. It's like, well, I'll do it now. It's like, when can I next call you? When can I put the meeting in? But then sometimes you've got to be like, okay, you've actually not got to harass and jump on this opportunity at the same time.
I mean, you can't grab hold of their jumper and say, look, I'll show you now and buy it now.
Take a look at my website, actually. It's really cool. Like, then you go to the other side, actually, and you flip on it. But it's about that balance, isn't it, really? You've definitely got to be proactive, but not too proactive that you're scaring away leads at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Nailed it. Spot on. Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier about your SEO. So what kind of are your specialities in marketing?
So I think the main thing that I specialise in, I suppose, is consulting. So because I've got a range of marketing skills, it's going in and spending time with a company to understand that it's not always that we need to post better on Instagram or Facebook. It's actually that there could be something a bit deeper there. So perhaps their branding's not quite right. So we need to look at that. Are we on Google My Business so that we've got that local search coming in? It's understanding where they are as a business, what their goals are, and what we need to put in place to get there. And that consulting looked so different for each business I go into, depending on who they are, who their customer is, and what they're trying to achieve.
And I think having that bespoke option is like perfect, really. Like, as a business owner, you have so many different things going on. You have to wear so many different hats. And your business is not going to look like the person's business down the road. So you need to have, like, sometimes you really need that person just to be like, how to help me with my marketing, because I'm busy doing the rest of the business activities and stuff like that.
And some of the businesses I work with, they've got those skills. They've got brilliant marketing skills, but they just, because they work on their own, some of them, it's just bouncing those ideas to sort of say, what do we think about this? And what if I do it this way? And just having that conversation with somebody else in the know is what they need to achieve what they're after. So it's being quite flexible with each business and what they need to achieve that success.
Yeah, it's finding out what a business owner wants, trying to execute those goals, meeting targets and things like that. I think that's like, as marketers, we're very driven for like doing that sometimes, aren't
Yeah.
we? Once we've set our goals and we know we've been told what job we need to do, like that's when we're on
Yes.
it, then we're on it. So
Yeah.
like we mentioned a little bit earlier as well about customer journey. So customer journey is obviously really important, and a lot of sort of the video work I do with my clients is to improve that customer journey. So from your experience, how do you best sort of optimize customer journeys for like local clients and people buying locally?
So it's all about, so let's talk about social media again. It's all about something such as Facebook. We're utilizing those local groups. So if you're using a marketing business, perhaps on the other side of the country, do they know that we've got these big groups with 20, 30,000 people in that are all people within the same postcode?
Yeah.
So it's utilizing things like that. It's using location-based hashtags. The main thing is building that local network. So you've got that network of businesses, and they may never buy from you, but if they're liking your post, if they're sharing your post, that's then the algorithm is then giving you those points so that your content reaches more people who may become your customers. So it's about growing and utilizing that local network, sharing in the groups, using relevant hashtags, and just getting yourself out there as much as you can on social media through whatever kind of content is working for you and your audience.
I think you're 100% right. Like building that network organically of local people is going to be the best way to get into the hearts of the local people. And I find like what I try and do with my video is try and incorporate local areas in that content. So, for example, in bringing it back to Swaddling Coast again, everybody in Swad knows the tall chimney and the tall tower, which is in the middle of Swaddling Coast. So by incorporating that into like videos and content, everyone from Swad is immediately going to know what that is and immediately going to be interested in it because it's in the heart of their local area. So it's kind of like using those symbolisms and those buildings and those people that local people know to obviously promote and like push that content out even more. Like Leicester, for example, the clock tower. If you show someone a picture of the clock tower in Leicester, someone in Leicester, they're going to know that's Leicester Clock Tower or like High Cross or something like that. So incorporating those sneaky little location-based elements into your videos, into your photos, I think really does go a long way at connecting local people. Resonates that a little bit more. So how could a local business make their customer journey as easy as possible?
So let's think about their website then. So hopefully we're using social media to draw that interest to their website. Their website needs to be fast. It needs to be easy to use. It needs to have the content that they're looking for.
Definitely.
But it needs to have that brand personality as well. And it needs to be cohesive across their website, across their socials, wherever they're marketing. It all needs to have a cohesive feel so that you're still building that trust in that brand.
Especially when you say website speed, because I don't know about you, but if I'm sat there, my attention span is like all over the place. If it like the web page is taking more than 5 seconds to load, I'm bored already. I've gone off. I'm thinking about something else.
Yeah.
So you really have to get your message across clear and as simple, like straight away, like immediately, don't you?
So if we're talking website then. So your website, it needs to look good.
Yeah.
It needs to be, obviously, it needs to be your brand, and it needs to be speaking the same language as you're talking about on your socials or wherever else you're marketing. But it needs to, I think if you're a personal brand, it needs to be bringing that personal branding. So I like to see, with particularly local service-based businesses, I like to see a picture of them on the home screen so that we know who we're looking to buy from. I would like to see an About Me page, and I'd like to understand a bit about them and their why. So we can get into the USP, but actually it's their why are they doing this business, and why do I buy from them instead of somebody like them that's doing a very similar service. So I think that about that homepage needs to look good. It needs to have the content that the customer needs within those first few seconds. We need that About Me page. We need the services/products, the shopping bit, if they're ready to convert. And then, of course, we need a contact as well. And we need to include location, particularly for service-based customers and businesses, we need to include location. Because if you're looking, if you're looking for a local tradesman and you hit a website and it doesn't say where they are, you'll assume it's not local, won't you? And you'll bounce.
I saw that on a van the other day. So I was driving behind a van, and I don't know about you, but I always click into like marketing goggles. And this van, and it said something like, it didn't say what it was on the name, but it said main office, and then it had an address, and then it said Leicester office and had another address. And I
Okay.
was like, so where's the main office?
Okay.
And immediately I was thinking, someone looking at that van is going to think, okay, yeah, the Leicester office is the Leicester office. But
Right.
if it's just head office, where's the main office then?
Yeah.
Without like knowing exactly where that
Yeah.
address is. And it's exactly
Exactly.
the same. You're not going to, if your website doesn't say where you're based,
Oh
you
my
could end
gosh,
up ringing up
it's
someone like in a complete different county.
and it's the same on social media. There's so many service-based businesses. Day in, day out, I'm on social media and I see there's somebody who is doing perhaps maybe a beauty salon, maybe like nails or something like that. But it doesn't immediately on the first page, on the caption, it doesn't say they are based in Swadlincote
Yeah.
or wherever they are. So people aren't staying around. They're not going to try and find out that information. You've got to make that customer journey with everything you do. It needs to be easy for your customer.
Tied up on a plate in a little bow with a cherry on top,
Yes.
all in one bite-sized like chunk, 100%.
Exactly right.
And it's interesting what you say about the customer journey and like obviously having the About Us page and who that person is, because you're 100% right. All that is part of the customer journey. Nowadays, money's tight. They want to spend their money with businesses they can trust, and you need to build that trust and accountability with consumers, because then you're not just going to invite random people into your home willy-nilly to fix your boiler or do your solar panels or
Yes.
like even work on your car in a garage.
Yes.
So you need to have that element of trust and authenticness and individuality about it to separate you from the rest. And it looks
Yeah.
a lot better having loads of like, happy smiley faces on the Meet the Team page rather than like really outdated, pixelated sort of like
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
images or people looking miserable or something like that. It needs to be bright, happy and inviting, 100%.
So if we go into this a bit deeper, then I work alongside Swanlincote Electrical Supplies, as you know. So I see a lot of tradesmen and I talk to a lot of tradesmen, and I spent some time with one recently, and he told me that, well, I haven't really got the face for social media, and I hear that a lot. And
Yeah.
actually, I think that's quite sad because people don't want to see that you've got maybe this Instagram face where you've got this heavy face of makeup and you look pristine all the time and all the filters are all right. People don't care. And actually, if you're looking for a tradesman, what you want to see is somebody that can do the job. So a photo of them fixing your boiler or doing what they should be
Definitely.
doing that's who you want to come and fix your boiler, not someone that necessarily looks great in a swimsuit
100%,
on
'cause
Instagram. That's not who you're trusting to do the work, is
And
it?
that's it. It's almost as like, if I was presenting myself to be, a builder or a bricklayer, and people and my hands was on Instagram, they go, these hands are not a bricklayer's hand. Like these hands have never laid a brick in their life. So it's like, and you need to fit the role. And obviously, people have been in these professions for years. They fit their role, and they just need a bit more pride over their company and their brand, I think.
Yeah.
But social media can be a big scary place for some people. So it is just about sometimes holding their hand a little bit. And I think after speaking to a lot of men, actually, I think it's kind of like there's a lot of peer-to-peer embarrassment as well, because I feel like people are going to take the mick or people are going to sort of like put them
Okay,
down
yes,
sometimes as
yes.
well. So, but who's really the one going to be laughing once you're owning it on camera and you're owning your social medias and you're reaping the benefits of that as well?
Exactly,
So like
yeah.
sometimes it's just about like changing your attitude a little bit and just thinking like the other side of the coin, like how best can I do this for my business?
So are you really going to limit your levels of success because there might be someone that you went to school with that might see your video and laugh at it? Are you going to let that stop you
That's
from
a
running
much
with your
better way of
business?
putting it. That's a much better way that I was trying to get out there. But yeah, 100%. Don't let it stop you. You've just got to do it. Like do it what you enjoy it, and you will enjoy it eventually. I think that everyone will enjoy it, but maybe I'm biased.
So let me ask you then. So I see a lot of people, and imposter syndrome is a huge thing with the small business owners that I meet and small business owners generally. So a lot of them, I talk to them about the importance of video content particularly. And as you're an expert at video, what advice would you give to a business owner who says, I don't really want to go on video, I don't look very good, I don't sound very good? We know the importance of their face and the realism. That's the key thing here. Social media and their content needs to be real. But how do we tell them to just, they've got to get over that and get themselves on video?
It's difficult because it's almost, A lot of the time I find myself I'm fighting with someone that has been very set in their ways that they don't want to be on camera, and that they've had that attitude for their whole life. And sometimes that's okay, but I really think you've got to give things a chance. You've got to adapt with the times, and you've got to jump on new trends and try new things that are happening. And the best way to do that with video is just giving it a go, recording a bit of a video. It doesn't have to be perfect. Breaking down those barriers with yourself. That okay, this might be okay. This might be a little bit embarrassing at first, but
Yeah.
hey ho, news changes every 5 minutes on social media. It's that fast moving.
Yes.
People will forget about it instantly.
Exactly.
Like, unless you're posting like the same like videos over and over again, which is obviously what we always recommend with social media. Posting the odd video here and there to break down those boundaries, people will forget about it. But use that to your advantage, and sort of use that to sort of get over those initial fears and just build your skills.
Yes.
Talking in front of the camera is a skill at the end of the day. Like actors, although it may seem like that they're born with a talent and on the stage and in front of cameras, they're not. It's a very it's a hard working skill. It takes a lot of time and effort to develop those skills, and it's like any like business owner skill. Really, it just takes a lot of practice and a lot of commitment to just get it right.
And that they'll get better, won't they? So I know we both have
100%.
a similar message on this, but just pressing to hit record and just talking to the camera, and you can put that online and perhaps don't overthink it too much as long as you've got that message across. But if they keep doing that once a week or however often, they will get better. So it's about moving away from those that embarrassment, isn't it? And just stepping out of your comfort zone and just going for it and delivering that message that is important to your customers.
Yeah, definitely. Like breaking away from like trying to lose that ego a little bit, and that it may be imperfect. It may be breaking away a little bit. It may not be perfect, but at least you're putting something out there. You're trying something new, and you're pushing your brand. Which no one can mock you for pushing your own brand, especially in a world out there it's so hard to be a business owner. Like, if no one's going to back you, that's not the expression. If you can't back yourself, who can you back? No one else is going to do it for you. So sometimes you just have to put yourself out there.
And actually, what I find is that your business, as a business, your customers are very forgiving. So if you put a business out there and there's a lot of, and there's a lot of thinking, actually, they're not going to not buy because you said too many times, are they?
Yeah, definitely.
So it's whilst you may be embarrassed that Johnny from school may see it and, laugh at that or whatever, well, we're not particularly bothered, are we? But it's just, your audience are very forgiving. So just go for it, hit record, practice and go for it. And don't overthink it. Don't spend a day, I spoke about this on social media recently, don't spend your whole day editing and tweaking. Yes, we need to polish it up and refine it, but those skills will come as well, as I'm sure you very well know, that you learn those tips and tricks. For now, it's just get yourself online and show that there's a real person behind your logo.
Get yourself out there, get yourself on camera, just get stuck on with it, and you're 100% right. Editing comes later. The polishing and the perfection, once you get into that habit of posting first, that is your biggest blocker. I was speaking to someone earlier, and it was very much, it's like public speaking. When you go out to do public speaking, you are the biggest critique of yourself in that room. Everyone else in that room either, number one, is forced to be there and probably doesn't want to be there, or is really interested and can't wait for you to speak anyway. So they're never going to be like criticize you or waiting for you to fail. That's all sort of in your own head, and it's very much the same as video. No one's actively waiting or egging you on to fail apart from yourself. You are your biggest critique, really. So you're my second person on this podcast now, and we've done some quick fire questions.
Okay.
And I try and keep these questions a little bit the same throughout the podcasts, so each episode has a bit of like continuity and stuff like that. So let's see how your answers compared to my last guest's answers. Okay. So what is your favourite marketing campaign you've ever seen?
Okay, really, really good example then was I'm not sure what country it was in, but it was a large shopping mall, and you looked down from the top and you looked down, and the floor, it was like digital, it was all sort of moving, and it was a video of a dog scratching, okay? And as you were looking from the top balcony, you were looking down to all the people on the bottom floor of the shopping centre walking across this dog. So it was like fleas, and it was advertising flea treatment.
That's awesome.
I thought it was fantastic. So you were looking down and you could feel that it was clearly bothering the dog. So wherever the people stepped, he would fuss.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was so effective, because you could feel how irritated he clearly was, and hence going by the flea treatment.
And it's I love stuff like that as well. It must have a name, but I can't really picture it. But it's kind of like, have you ever seen like those like reels or something on Instagram where it's like a collection of engaging billboards, and it'll kind of be like a billboard that
Yes.
has like then something in real life, like an immersive billboard
Yes.
almost. Like I
Yeah.
think one that comes to mind was an old Kill Bill advertisement, and there was a
Okay.
white car next to the billboard, and then it had like, the sword and the blood, and then the blood came onto the white car like below.
Yeah.
So in fact, something more recently that I've seen a lot of as well is people getting like a Rolls Royce or something in the street and then writing like cheetah on like in like spray paint, and then putting like a QR code that says like I've seen what you've done, like you arsehole or something, and people scan it and it takes you to a website, like a customer's, like an actual business's website or
Right.
something like
Okay.
that. So like things like that
It's
just hook
memorable.
people in. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
really like a little bit rogue, like guerrilla marketing almost, stuff like that is really
People love things
interesting.
to be a bit naughty as well. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you follow Aldi and their marketing.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it's fantastic because they touch on things that they shouldn't talk about. So the whole lawsuit with M&S and the Caterpillar cake, and the fact that they were sued and in loads of debt for that. So they make fun of that, make light of that, and they've created this fun little character out of the cake that sort of the awkward one isn't able to go to parties and things like that. And then you've got like the M&S
shamed
team
a little
that's
bit.
yeah, and it's a bit naughty and it's a bit I'm not sure they should have done that. So the
No.
audience loves it, and yeah, their marketing is brilliant.
I think that's what you have to do. Like Ryanair do something similar on TikTok. Every time someone posts a TikTok complaining about Ryanair, they'll just screen record it, repost it, and go like, "Told you so." Like this is what the ticket says. Like they have
Yes.
no shame at all with that kind of thing.
So you've got to be careful to get that right, especially when you're a small business and you haven't.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a line of when you should do
Yes,
content like
you need
that.
to be careful, but also to have some fun with it and to bring humour into it. That's another biggie, isn't it? Humour. People love that, especially social media. Anyone using social media is looking for that entertainment aspect. So make them laugh because that's what people want.
Yeah, 100%. And if you can turn around and shed a little bit of like light on it, like that's even better. Like Ryanair, for example, everyone knows that they're cheap and that there's issues with the flight and blah blah blah, but everyone still uses them because they are the cheapest airline. So
Yeah,
they just fully
exactly.
play into that, which is
Yes.
brilliant. And that's kind of like a point as well. Like when it comes to establishing yourself as a business owner and how you position yourself to your clients, are you like that cheap option that is accessible to a lot of people, or are you like the premium service, or where do you sit? Someone said to me once, are you the Aldi, are you a Tesco, or are you a Waitrose? And that really made me
Okay.
think, and I still don't think I've come
Yes.
to that answer yet.
Okay.
But it did really make me think of like where I position myself in the market as well.
Because there's room for everybody on that scale.
Definitely.
So it's working out where you are, deciding where you're going to be, and owning that, isn't it, as opposed to sort of accidentally falling into something and then your messaging's not quite aligning with your brand and your product. So
Yeah.
yes, it's defining where you are. And
All of us probably want to offer a Waitrose service, but to everyone we possibly can, to help everyone at the Aldi prices. But then that's not then justifiable as business owners, is it? Because we just can't function. We'll just burn out. We don't possibly have enough time to do that. So no, it is an interesting one, definitely.
And a lot of businesses that I speak to will say to me, I will ask them, well, who's your customer? Who's your audience? And they'll say, everyone. And I think, oh gosh, no, they're not. No, they're not.
The one that gets me as well is, what competitors have you got? We don't have any competition.
Yeah, we're the only ones doing it.
It's
You're
like,
not.
oh, well, you're not.
No, so it's targeting it, isn't it? It's absolutely targeting. And the more you target and the more you speak to a defined group of people that align with your values and what your business is doing, such as I'm only partner with businesses in Swadlincote and South Derbyshire.
Yeah.
So I've really limited and restricted my work base and my social media audience, for example. It's very tiny. But those people are engaged and I speak to them and it resonates, and I know the local landscape and know who should be working with who.
You've really niched down and you've really targeted exactly who you want to work with, which is exactly what you tell your clients, your customers to do as well, which is great.
Yeah, so it's exactly as you said. So it's niche it down. That's really important. And then speak to those people and don't worry about the people that don't fall into that group. They might sort of peer over and sort of be a bit interested and want to join, but it doesn't matter. You don't need to be talking to everybody. Your audience isn't everybody.
No, never. No, you can never please every single person in the world. This is not going to be no point in that.
No.
So, what is your favourite viral video?
So I quite liked the Dove Turn Your Back campaign.
Okay.
And I quite like the people getting onto that, and they were doing their own versions of that. So the idea was that you turn away from all the filters and the beauty filters of the likes of Instagram, and it was primarily for ladies, but it was for women to realise you don't have to have all these filters on you. You don't have to look great all the time. It's okay to be a real woman. And so I think the fact that people were jumping in on that, and they were sort of doing this turn your back without all these filters and without sort of showing the best side of them, and using AI to make them look completely polished and with false makeup and things. I think that was a really powerful message. I like that one a lot.
And do you know what? It's something that resonates with me quite a lot as well, because I meet so many like amazing women, like beautiful women out there when I'm recording, and they also really self-conscious in front of the camera. And the first thing they'll say to me is, "Oh, I hope you've got a filter on that." And I'm like,
Oh, okay.
"You don't need a filter." I'm like, "Stop using filters.
You need
like
to
we need
be
that
real.
realism, like that realism, and that that authenticity is what we want." But so many people will say it to me like straight away, like, "Oh, I hope you got a filter on that," or "Can you edit me to look this way?" It's like the first thing they would say to me when I walk into the room. So yeah, I'm 100% backing to get rid of those stereotypes, and let's get some realism. Authenticity is what's important.
I think we've all got a bit of that. We all want to.
Oh, definitely.
And I always say to people, create your content when you're feeling good.
Yes.
Maybe create a batch of content, but I will do that when I've got a nice full face of makeup, and when I've done my hair, and when I feel that I look good about myself. That gives me the confidence and the energy to get that message across. So I suppose I do want to show the best side of myself, but that's the best side of me, as opposed to the AI version of me where I've maybe removed freckles or something like that. I still want to be true to me and who I am, but I guess we've all got a little bit of that inside us.
We want to look our best. We want to be wearing our best clothes. We want to be looking fresh, but also feel free to share that bit of that other side of you, especially as a business owner. It's not all sunshine and roses. We graft and work hard for our businesses and for our communities. So if we're looking a little bit tired, if we're in that 5 a.m. wake up sort of like just got to work sort of mindset, share that as well, because that's what's going to buy into people as well. And you're not going to be looking your best all sparkly at if you've just been working through the night till like 5 in the morning. But use that to share your story and like what really happens like into your life. I think that's sort of the best way to do it.
So you reminded me of after the Swaddling Coat Small Business Showcase, there was a photo of me, and I can't remember, you might have taken it actually.
Yeah, I think it was.
Do you remember over the police car?
Yeah,
I looked like crap. Honestly, I'd been on my feet since 6 a.m. It was such a fantastic day, but it was a very full day. My legs were killing me, my hips hurt, everything hurt. I was slumped over the police car with a thumbs up, looking rubbish. That photo, and I just said, thank you, everyone. What an amazing day. And that photo, they got so many likes, so much engagement. Everybody was so supportive of the great day we'd had. And that was far from the best side of me.
Because it was real. It was what's going on. It was authentic. But it also showed how much of a hard worker you are. Like, if we was all hard workers, we wouldn't all look 10 out of 10 pristine all the time, because that's not what hard work is.
So should I tell you one of my highest performing Facebook posts? Is I may have told you about this before, but I'd spent a whole day consulting with new businesses. I'd gone from a consulting to a business lunch and then another consulting session. And then I got home exhausted to find out that on the back of my blazer was a clothes peg from the washing line, right? So I took a picture of this bloody clothes peg and said, so this is the day that I've had meeting new customers, this high-level consulting, with the flipping clothes peg on my blazer. That post went mental. That's and everybody crazy. Loved it. And the day before, I was sharing my most valuable ever marketing tip. Didn't get as many likes as that clothes peg.
Just tanks compared to like that real story, like something like that. But you can't write that. You go for a full day grafting. You're like, the world's out to get me.
Exactly.
If you had to live on a desert island and you could only take 3 things with you, what are you taking with you?
Okay, so if I can take 3 things with me, I'm naturally going to say my 3 kids.
You're kind of obliged to say that, really, aren't you?
Which might upset my husband, but you only said 3. If I can take 4, he can get a ticket as well.
Okay, we'll let you take him as well.
3 things. Do you know what? I think I would embrace not taking anything. And I think the reason for that is because I live in this busy world, this busy digital world. And whilst I love that, sometimes when I'm we do burn out as well. And sometimes I just imagine what it actually might be like to be on this desert island and living life in a very, very simple way. And actually that might be quite exhilarating not to have my laptop, not to have my phone beeping and constantly. And I'm sometimes checking emails at midnight, or I get up in the night for a glass of water and I'm looking at my Facebook notifications.
You're like, what's going on? What have I missed? Sort
Yeah,
of
and I
thing.
like to be
It never
constantly
stops.
no, and actually, so it might be nice just if I'm having this couple of days on this desert island that I didn't realise was included with this podcast. It might be nice to actually put all that to one side and just embrace nature in its finest.
Like inside me as well, I have this craving to disconnect so badly and just sort of like not have to like do anything. But it's sort of like it directly opposes what my job is, because my
Yeah.
job is very much social media, very much digital driven, and it is what I love. So it's kind of like, I think it's sort of that basis that you love what you don't have, because it was like if I was, constantly working all that time and I'm craving, I want that little bit of disconnect. As soon as I'm disconnecting for too long, I'm like, right, where's my phone? Ready to start working again now. Give me my camera. So I think I'd
Yeah.
always flip between the two, like definitely. But
It's work-life balance, isn't it? And it's
work-life balance,
trying to
yeah.
get that right when you're living in a digital world that it's 24/7.
As a business owner, how do you sort of unwind? Like, how do you have that work-life balance?
So I do try and be quite disciplined because I've got 3 kids at home, and I am a mum and a wife as well as a business owner. I do try and make sure that on my family days, which are especially over half term, weekends, summer holidays, that I do try not look at my phone as much, and I do maybe have this family day out where I won't check notifications and I won't check my emails. So it's trying to be disciplined that it's okay to have that family time, and it's okay that I'm not responding to that email within the hour that they sent it. And then when I am working, they can get an instant response if my time allows for that. So it's just giving time to both and make sure that time is purposeful.
Boundaries, that's the biggest thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Setting those boundaries and being like, I'm off today, or I'm
Yes.
off this week, because I have such a bad habit of being like, yep, I'll do that straight away, or as soon as I see as soon as I see a notification, wanting to jump on it and just solve the problem straight away. But no, you have to set those boundaries sometimes, don't you? Otherwise you will burn out, like there'll be nothing left of us.
So what do you do then to escape the busy social media world?
It's a difficult one, because I feel like this year, because I have set up properly this year, I haven't had too much of being able to disconnect. But
Okay.
strangely enough, I've also gone on holiday the most in 1 year I have ever done in my life. So I feel
Okay.
like my disconnect is literally leaving, going on
Right.
holiday, spending whether it's 3 days to a week, just fully disconnecting and be like, I'm not looking at my phone. I'm going to explore this new city, or I'm going to indulge myself in the culture. So as much as I don't think that is the case, I think that deep down it is what I do, and it is sort of the way I work hard up until the point, working through weekends, working through evenings, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
I have those days where I'm like, right, let me explore a different country, let me see what's in this city, and then just spend my time doing that.
Yeah.
I think I haven't admitted it to myself that is how I do it yet, but I think I've just cracked it
There
now.
we go.
So
Said it on
it's a
camera.
podcast first. But yeah, everyone needs to unwind somehow, otherwise you will just burn out. And we're not living to work, we're working to live.
Yeah.
So it's not all about work, although it is my passion and it is something that I really love to do. It isn't all my whole life.
There's
I
skyrocketing.
promise.
There's a skyrocketing trend at the minute that consumers like to be able to access businesses through social media. So your Instagram and your Facebook messaging and all that you need to be accessible.
Yeah.
And it's important that you are, which is another reason why you should be using social media as a business owner, because it's a lot more casual. You can drop someone a Facebook message. It's a lot more accessible and friendly and personal than sending a quite formal email.
Oh, 100%.
However, business owners need to know that it's okay for them to have their own space as well. And when they are taking these days off and they're having these holidays, that it's okay. Just put that auto reply on. Just say that you're away. You will come back and you do care. But it's okay to have that time.
Yeah, because otherwise you're not going to be able to come back and give the 10 out of 10 service that you can. If you're just working and running yourself to the ground, your quality control is going to start dropping, and your quality is
Yeah.
going to drop. There's no way you can maintain it because you're not happy, you're not performing at your best. As business owners, networking, really big thing. What is your biggest networking ick in somebody?
Somebody who goes to a networking group to sell themselves.
Retweet. Completely
No,
sent agree.
it's
Completely agree.
and that's the same with your marketing actually as well. If you are going to your marketing and you are just sell, this is what I do, come and buy from me. That definitely gives me the
Yeah,
ick. That's
massive ick.
yeah, and it's a networking group. It's more so because you go up to somebody and you say, "Hey, I do marketing. Come and buy it from me." It's just not the purpose for going to a networking group, is
Yeah,
it?
I think it's kind of like what was said earlier about being too eager sometimes as well. Being like, when we're booking a call, like, over and over
Yeah.
again, it's like, whoa, it's like,
Yes.
buy me a drink first, sort of thing. Like, chill out, let's have a chat. I want to get to know you, like, before
Yeah.
anything like that. So
I spoke about this
100%
recently.
agree.
It's I said, "Are you a marketing tart?" And it is simply, "Are you trying to get in bed with your customers?"
Yeah.
When you said, "Buy me a drink," that's exactly what it is. You've got to warm them up first.
Yeah.
You've got to warm them up, build that trust. Maybe then they're looking to buy from you, and maybe they're not. But you've got to go through that journey. You can't shortcut straight to buy this from me.
Yeah, it's like, will
Tell
you
me
marry
why.
me? Like, in a second, it's like, no, I don't know who you
Yeah.
are. Like, straight away. And yeah, business owners need to do that just as much as people
Exactly.
do. What is your most embarrassing networking story?
Okay, I already told you about my
Yeah, to
clothes
be
peg on
fair,
my blazer, so that was already
that was
one
quite a big one.
embarrassing thing.
One
But no, I've
embarrassing
got plenty
story.
of embarrassing stories, and you know what? I put them all online as well to show that I am a real person, and I do make these stupid errors. It wasn't a networking group, but it was at I was at an award ceremony recently representing sort of with Swaddling Codes Electrical, who we've spoken about. They actually won the award for Best Customer Service 2024. It was quite a
Amazing, well done.
prestigious award, so that was a huge achievement for them, and they're doing some great things right now. And as we were called up, I'd bought this beautiful long dress. It's the first time I've been able to wear a dress like this since like pre-COVID. So I had this lovely dress and I stood up, but I'm not very tall and my heels got caught in my dress.
Oh no.
So I'm like fumbling around to try and get get my heels out of my dress so that I could walk up on stage. The rest had gone up on stage. I'm trying to catch them up. So I managed to get my heels out of my dress, only for my cardigan to drop off my knees then onto my feet as well. So I'm just stood there with nearly 300 pairs of eyes on me. Half of these businesses I know because they're within my area, and I'm stuck in my flipping dress, not able to get up on stage.
Like, help me, guys! Come back for me. Yeah.
So there's me proving that I really am a real person, and I'm also not a very tall person.
It's that realism, though. Not everything's perfect. And I think it's what makes people human.
So I can make you win an award, but I can't help you look good approaching a stage in my heels.
Don't expect Keely to be on the stage with you because she's still trying to get out of a chair. What are you having for tea tonight? Or have you had your tea?
Oh God, I don't even know. I fed the family. I made sure that I'd got the family fed and I'd got dinner ready for everybody so that I could just dash straight out of the door. Haven't even thought about mine. I'll probably go home and have some Alpen.
Really? Alpen.
And that's how exciting my life is. I go home, I have my bowl of Alpen, I get into my warm PJs, and I shall be in bed.
That's it, in bed.
That will be me.
To be fair, like I'm really trying hard at the moment to eat healthy because I have such an incredible bad habit for takeaways.
Right.
I love eating out. I order takeaways. I spend so much money on it. And I'm like, this needs to stop.
Yeah.
But then today, obviously, I knew we was filming tonight, so I was like, this is kind of in the dinner time area.
Yeah.
And then I was like, but I finished my shoot at about 2:00, so I hadn't had lunch. So too late for lunch, too early for dinner. So I ended up having a Mackey's and I did it and I was like...
We should have included it as part of the podcast, shouldn't we? Sat and eaten
a McDonald's.
biryani. I was going to say biryani or something a bit classier than McDonald's.
Biryani. No, that could be an aspect, like dinner and marketing. Maybe that's like an aspect that I could do
dinner
next
and
time.
Marketing.
Yeah, and we have a different sort of takeaway or food to go along with it.
That's a great idea. From a local business, and we can kind of review it at the same time. They might even let us have it for free.
They could sponsor the podcast.
I like
and that would be the ultimate product placement. So today's episode is sponsored by Mario's Takeaway.
So here eating the pizza.
Sitting in Mario's. No, that'd be awesome. But yeah, any takeaway people who do want to sponsor the podcast, let me know because I love takeaways. Have you got any goals you're going to set yourself for next year? Anything you want to get stuck into?
So 2 things for me. First is to continue to drive my own development. So I think in the space that we're in, it's certainly important to keep up to date. So think things like SEO, particularly changes, the goalpost keeps changing all the time. So it's important that I keep touching base with that and making sure that my knowledge and my skills are up to date. Same with social media, up to date with all the trends. So I need to continue to drive my own development and not get complacent. So I will continue to go to exhibits and events and workshops to progress my own learning. But also the other side of it is I'm lucky that I'm in a position where I'm ready to grow and expand, and that means bringing somebody into the business
That's
and
amazing.
hiring somebody. It does make me feel a little bit nervous. I've built this business on my own and I manage everything. I am one man band as it stands. So to trust somebody enough to continue to deliver that service and to support what I do in delivering my service at the standard that I've set, it is a scary move. But I think it'll be really rewarding to offer somebody locally a job and to teach them and to work alongside them to provide the services that I do.
I think sharing your skills with someone else can be really rewarding as well. But it is a little bit scary because almost by becoming an employer, you're responsible for them. Like you're responsible for like paying them, and they will rely on you and stuff like that. So it is a scary step, but I think it is a really rewarding step as well. And it's you have to, as a business owner, if you want to start growing, you can't do it all on your own. There's no way you can do it on your own. So it is the logical next step to do. So good luck to it, because it's a scary one, but no, I think it is really rewarding.
And I need to get it right. I still want to oversee everything my business does. If I could just bring somebody in to maybe support me with some admin or some of the sort of the day-to-day, and then I can still be very much the face of the business and the deliverables and making sure that the results are as they should be and as I promise. So, but bringing someone in to support what I do and to offer them that skills and that opportunity, I think will be great.
Awesome. And I really agree with you as well about those, like going to workshops and stuff like that. So I've been to a few this year and I think they're so much fun. I love learning. And I went to one about a podcast with some friends of mine, Studio 67. And we had a blast there, but it was also good just to absorb that information and stuff like that. So definitely want to jump onto more workshops, learn some more myself, because then I can regurgitate all of that information and then give it to other people, talk more about it with my clients. So I think learning more and growing as a business. Keep pushing. That's just what we've got to do. Keep fighting forward.
Learning more. I like that. Learning more. That sums it up, doesn't it?
Definitely. So I think we're about there. We've battled through, how long has it been? About an hour. But, it honestly flies on these podcasts. It really doesn't feel like an hour that we've sat here for. But I've really enjoyed speaking to you, Keely. Where can the people at home watching this now find you? Where can they get in contact with you? Where can they look?
Okay, so I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook and Instagram. But I suppose my community is over on Facebook. So the LinkedIn and Instagram, I have a space there. But actually Facebook is where my community is. So if you want to sort of see the content that I'm posting, and I like to offer lots of hints and tips and advice and build a community over on there. I am on there as Keely Briggs Marketing Swaddling Coat.
Brilliant.
And that's where most of my content goes. That's where my community is.
Amazing. And I think it's good that you've got such a good community on Facebook. I've seen the Facebook community you've got, and it is very strong. People are always offering each other advice, and obviously you always offer advice out there on your platform as well. So go check it out. All of Keely's information is below in the episode description and on the description of the video, so please click it, as is mine. Obviously, my name's Dan, if you haven't caught that by the end of this podcast. I'm a videographer and digital marketing expert, and I try and create engaging content for businesses, social media and their websites. My details are also below as well. Thank you so much for listening. We're going to take this conversation online as well, so me and Keely are always talking on LinkedIn. Drop us a message for any questions and get in contact if you need any help at all, and we can obviously help you out. We love helping people, so just drop us a message.
Thanks, Dan.
Cheers, guys. I think we made that. That was awesome.